What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 5, The Story and the Engine. One thing real quickly before we get into this episode is, why was Poppy from Space Babies returning in this episode? The little girl that Belinda sees down the fucking hallway, or down the alleyway, is Poppy from Space Babies. And then at the end of the episode they talk about that. The doctor's like, yeah, I guess a bunch of stores are bleeding over, nothing to worry about.
I saw a spooky kid back then.
I didn't see anything, but the stories were leaking out.
Why is Poppy there? What the fuck is that all about? I thought it was just a creepy little girl, but then if you look in the credits, it's credited as Captain Poppy. Who knows, dude? Who knows? But yeah, if you understand why Poppy was there, let me know in the comments down below. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? That's bizarre. But alright, let's get into the episode. So the episode opens up with the storyteller, that's all it says is storyteller. We find out it's Omo, but it calls him the storyteller in the beginning. Tells a story about how he met the doctor. And at first, I was like, what is going on here? Because like he starts talking, and then all of a sudden, like the intro for Doctor Who's projected onto the wall, and it slowly zooms in, and then you get the normal intro. But that part really threw me off. I even rewound it. I was like, is Disney Plus glitching out? Like, what is happening here? And then I figured out, oh, it's okay. This is part of the story, Jerome. Don't be stupid. I did think that part of the story was pretty neat. How every single person that told the story in the barbershop chair with those really sweet clippers. I would love a pair of those clippers. Those were cool. While they told their story, they had another story projected on the wall. Now, I was really hoping we were gonna get so much like really old Doctor stories of him, and then you could show some of the animated specials, or even just show live action footage like they did for Belinda. I was really hoping we were going to get a lot more of that. Obviously we didn't, and then obviously we did towards the end, but I wanted like a flashback to that, but you know, that's not what the story was this time. They land in 2019 Lagos, Africa. Sorry, I could be saying that wrong. Like I said a few weeks ago, couldn't they though just stay in 2019 for a couple of years? I mean, yeah, I get it. That's quite a bit of time for Belinda, but could they just chill there and figure out what's gonna happen? They keep bouncing around just trying to figure out things. I feel like the smarter way is, the closest you guys have gotten to 2025 is 2019. You would think that if they stayed around for a bit, they could start picking up on some things that's gonna blow up the earth. You know, but well, I guess we'll just have to see. I guess the doctor doesn't think that's a great idea. But anyway, so they land in 2019. The doctor is the only one that leaves the TARDIS up first. We get Belinda stuck in the TARDIS. The doctor is going out to his barbershop. He's gonna say hey to his friends. He's walking down the alley. He sees the barbershop closed. He sees missing poster signs. He even sees a little like wooden sign outside the place that says like turn around or go back or something like that. But then he enters the barbershop, and as soon as he does, the door closes. All the lights in the TARDIS turn red, and Belinda's like, what the fuck? What is happening? You know, she's freaking out. Fucking Belinda. But yeah, whenever the TARDIS goes crazy like that, that's always a good part of it. You know, some fun stuff's gonna happen in Doctor Who. If the doctor... Fuck, that was scary. But as I was saying, so that is always a fun part of Doctor Who. When the TARDIS starts going crazy, you don't know what's going to happen, lights are flashing, you know, that's always a good part. The Doctor is inside. He starts noticing everybody inside is from the missing posters outside. He kind of starts putting it together. This is where we get the fun reveal that while you're in this barbershop, you have to tell stories while you're getting a haircut. And when you're not telling stories, your hair starts growing back. So you'd have a big-ass gnarly beard, or depending on your hairstyle, big old afro. Like, it'll just keep growing. I thought that was a really fun idea. So Abby walks in, she brings food for everybody, she's kind of chit-chat, and the doctor's like, who the fuck is this? Later on we find out she's a god's daughter. Whoa, she's a goddaughter. We'll get more into her when we get into the Joe Martin cameo, but yeah, I did really like the Abby storyline. So now it's the doctor's turn to tell a story. He tells a story about Belinda, about her saving a woman's life instead of going to like her nan's party. She's doing this thing, they're gonna inject steroids into the woman's hand. I don't know the exact science of it, but they're gonna inject steroids into her hand. They do this thing that she ends up making a call that saves the woman's life. The woman comes back to visit her and gives her flowers. It's a really nice story. But while we're in the flashback, I think it's when she's going to go meet the lady, Mrs. Flood walks by and she's like, oh hey Belinda, how you doing? Just going to get me pills. And that's it. That's all. That's all we get of Mrs. Flood this week.
Hi Belinda, just picking up my pills.
What is going on with her? I know we're most likely going to get the reveal next week at the Interstellar Song Contest. That's when we'll probably get the reveal of Mrs. Flood. At least that's what it's been seeming like from the buzz on the internet, the buzz on the World Wide Web. But the one thing I love this too. So while the doctor's doing this stuff in the barbershop, we keep cutting back to Belinda in the TARDIS, and she's like, hello, TARDIS, talk to me. Hello, TARDIS.
Are we under attack? TARDIS! Hello?
TARDIS. But so the doctor, he gets really pissed off here. He finds out that Omo, his whole plan was for the doctor to come here, tell endless stories while they can get the fuck out of Dodge. So they were using the doctor because they knew the doctor had so many stories, has lived endless stories, that obviously he could sit in this barbershop for years and years and years while these guys got the fuck out of there. But the doctor didn't like that. He's like, oh, because I don't have a family and everything, I'm useless, huh? Which is so fucked up. The doctor was telling all these good stories about Omo in the beginning. It's just how welcomed he felt here and all this shit. He shows up and they're like, fuck you, doctor. We just want your stories, dude. That's all. So then the doctor sonics the door. He's like, fuck you guys. I'm getting out of here. Y'all are a bunch of buttholes. He ends up sonicking the door. The door opens. They're flying out. It's crazy. We get the reveal they're on a walking spider inside the World Wide Web. They've actually moved. And this is where it gets a little confusing because I honestly didn't. Maybe I missed some shit. I don't know. I don't exactly know how the barbershop created, or the barber created all of this and this spider in the engine, and I didn't quite understand that, but I thought it looked really neat. I thought it was a fun idea too. It's such a Doctor Who, Russell T Davies thing, mostly Doctor Who, of them naming the World Wide Web, and then the World Wide Web already exists, and then him being like a troll in the web. Those little jokes, I liked that. That was fun. So then now Belinda's like, fuck this stupid TARDIS. It's just flashing red lights. It's locking. I'm getting out of here. So she starts to go look for the doctor. She's walking around. She does stir some trouble a little bit. I believe she does bump into the writer of the episode too. The guy at that shop was him, I believe. So she's walking around. She sees the same signs the doctor is seeing, but she sees Poppy, Captain Poppy from Space Babies, who she has never met. And she's like, get the fuck over there. The doctor's over there. Come on, Belinda. I have no clue what that's all about, but I would love to know. Hopefully it's not just a cameo. That'd be annoying. I don't remember what this is, but I said to insert the Doctor Don't Be Scared clip. I remember now when Shooty's trying to get the guy's name or something or get a story out of him, whatever, and he's like,
Don't be scared.
The barber he's saying all this. The barber is really Anansi, the man spider, Saga, the North goddess, Loki. He's saying a whole bunch of names. He just keeps spewing them off. And then all of a sudden it cuts to Belinda and the doctor, and they're just flat out laughing in his face. That was pretty funny. They revealed they've fought gods, they've met gods, the doctor's probably slept with gods, and he is not one of them. He's just the person that tells their stories. But then we do get the reveal here that Abby is the daughter of Anansi, and this was a really cool scene. So as they're telling that, the camera goes like behind her, and it reveals Joe Martin telling her, I was a fugitive back then, my story's gonna continue, blah, 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 blah.
I was a fugitive back then, and Nancy was wrong to offer that bet. And frankly, darling, I was busy in a different story that might be finished one day.
But we got Joe Martin back as the fugitive doctor. How fucking cool is that? I did not expect her to be, like, I heard rumblings that she may be in this season. Did not expect her this episode. I'm also assuming because she was in this episode, this little brief cameo, she's gotta pop back up again, right? She's got to. This can't be the last time we see her. But I loved that. I would love, like, even if we just got like a Christmas special with her, throw us a fugitive doctor like Christmas special or something. That'd be fun. But so we get the reveal that the barber is planning to erase the gods from the stories in his web, which then will end up, destroying the gods, getting rid of them. So the doctor's like, we can't, because it'll kill a bunch of people. But so now it's Abby's turn to tell a story. Abby sits down, she starts telling a story about hair weaving and then weaving maps into the hair. It's a very neat story. But while she's doing that, she's also weaving a map into the doctor's hair, and it gives him a pretty cool hairstyle as well. But yeah, she says she gives him a haircut with the map to freedom, and then he's going through and he like touches it. He's like, oh, okay, turn left. Now we're gonna make a right, and then if we hit the train tracks, we've gone way too far. Okay, Belinda. That's basically what the doctor does. But so they make it through the maze that's down there. They end up seeing like a life tree, sort of thing. That's what it was like supposed to look like. The story engine is a heart and a brain, which is so beautiful. And then it's in a life tree, or they end up attempting to destroy it. And then the doctor's like, you know what? I know what. And he just uploads every episode of Doctor Who into it, and they all start playing it. That was really cool. I really liked that. I love those moments when you get to see every single doctor. Every doctor gets that moment where they get to be like, I'm the doctor. And then they play Matt Smith did his where he walked through the faces. Those are just great moments. At that moment, the barber decides to let everybody go after the doctor talked to him for a little bit. Everybody leaves, even Belinda out of there, but then the doctor stays to... The barber was just going to sit in there and die with the spider and everything. But the doctor talks him out of doing that and gets him out to tell his, what was it, 6-letter story? I think it was a 6-letter story, something like that. I think it was a 6-letter story, but yeah, the doctor saved his life. And then we got the next on, which is the Interstellar Song Contest. This is the second episode that we've all been waiting for. for. They said episode 3 and 6 we're gonna have some big reveals. 3 being a sequel to Midnight. This one the way they talk about this episode, they claim it'll change Doctor Who forever. So, we'll have to see what that's like. I'm excited for next week. But alright, as we do every week, now it is time to go over to Doctor Who Unleashed and watch their 3-second clip of next week's episode.
In the next episode of Doctor Who.
I watched with my mum and dad when I was little. Best night of the year. They'd let me stay up late for voting, as long as I brushed my teeth and got into my pajamas. Look at me now.
Wow. Well, that was like the longest one I think we've had in a long time. But yeah, next week, Interstellar Song Contest. That's pretty exciting. Supposedly we get the revealed Mrs. Flood. There should be a lot going on next week, so that's really, really cool. Yeah, that's going to do it for this review of Doctor Who. Let me know your thoughts down below, and also let me know what you think of this season so far. To me, personally, I think we've had back-to-back really good episodes. I think we've been on a really big hot streak with Doctor Who, and that really excites me, especially now that we have the Interstellar Song Contest and then the 2-part finale. I don't know how they could drop the ball. I really don't. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.